Thomas will complete his Competent Communicator manual today. Is it award today, I should say. Is it the end of a journey or the beginning of something big? Thomas hopes to inspire you this morning with an 8 to 10 minute chat about his progress thus far with his speech, Faith Renewed and Lessons Learned.
Bag of tricks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I started Toastmasters about a year ago, September or so of 2012. And I figured in starting, I had a few things to learn. A few things. Not much. Just a few things to learn to improve my speaking skills. Since 1989, I taught for this company, Becker Professional Education, a CPA review course. I've talked in front of 150, 200 people in Miami and in Washington, D.C. So I'm there. And I rank very highly among all the other national instructors.
Oh.
I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But let's think about what I do when I do that class. I give a 4-hour lecture on accounting.
Oh.
What's wrong with this equation? 4 hours, lectures, and that exciting topic of accounting. So if I ranked really well with all the things I found out that I need to learn through Toastmasters, the other guys must be really, really bad. That was my conclusion. Because I've developed, basically, what I've learned from Toastmasters, I developed 23 years of very bad speaking habits. Now let's take a little journey through the highlights of my speeches. Hopefully you'll remember some of them. Some of them, hopefully you won't. My icebreaker was called The Tracks. And a little, you remember that, I'm sorry. So it's a little journey through my life from starting on the wrong side of the tracks in West Jacksonville. And now I'm on the right side of the tracks in Maitland. Big, big difference. Now, the Tracks speech could have been renamed The Train Wreck. It was awful.
Oh.
It was terrible. I went overtime. I saw the red light and said, oh no. Out loud. It was not good. I believe I sweated a little bit. You probably know that I did. So what did I learn from that? This speech is called Faith Renewed and Lessons Learned. That speech renewed my faith in God. You see, a little while ago, Laura wanted to, I said, oh God, I did terrible. I think Trace was talking to, this is not fair because you did so good. My first speech was just so God-awful. And she wanted to see my speech. So she searched for it, couldn't find it. I searched for it, couldn't find it. And then me searched for it. Lo and behold, there is a God. It wasn't there. Denny wasn't there that day. Yes.
I'm so disappointed. Oh, no.
I wasn't disappointed at all. So that's what I learned is, now that that speech has been lost to the ages, that train wreck, there is a God in heaven. And sometimes he sends his angels to earth. That was awesome. Another speech, number 3, was called Get to the Point. And this was in December of last year. And the topic was year-end tax tips.
Boy, I saw that. I was going.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that one too. Now here's the deal. I'm just going to encourage you and inspire you of what to do and what not to do. So number 1, when you see the red light, don't say, oh no. Number 2, when you select your topic, it should be both relevant and interesting. Year-end tax topics was relevant. That was a joke. It was not interesting. It was not interesting. When you see the eyes glaze over and people suddenly being married to their iPhone and texting, you know. So it was relevant. It was interesting to one person, but not to the rest of the audience. So consider that when you do your speeches so that you can really inspire people with something that's interesting. Number 4 and 5, these kind of go together. Number 4 was how to say it, and the topic was what's in a name. That was a home run.
Yes.
That was a good one. Now, if you remember that one, that's awesome. Just don't remember the first one. And number 5 was your body speaks. And that was about Psychology 101. And so I talked about Pavlov's dogs and all kind of stuff. And basically how in college, I got an A. And then once I hit about 45, I'm like, wow, that's all true. It is so true, all those psychological things. Now, for his evaluation, my arch enemy, Reed, wrote down, buddy, this was your chance to move around and be outrageous. Which obviously I didn't do. But the problem was that 4 and 5, the topics were a little bit reversed. If you remember Tommy Tom Thomas,
Yes.
people call me that. So I started here, and I went around shaking hands, ended up shaking Denise's hand in the back, and came all the way back. Like I said, it was a really good speech. One thing I did with that, though, is when the yellow light went on, I can brag on myself. When I saw the yellow light, I knew from that first speech, don't panic. So what I did is, I basically cut it short. And nobody knew that I cut it short, right?
Right.
So that's something to encourage you. Don't say, hey, I'm going to go through all 10 of my speeches. I didn't say that today, because I might run out of time. And I don't want to commit myself to going through 10 speeches. Some of them are not worthy anyway, of course. Now, what I really, had I had the time, you wouldn't hear Tommy Tom Thomas. You would hear Tommy Tom Thomas and Blake. But the yellow light was on. I didn't have time to talk about being called Blake. Like in a restaurant, when you have to give your name. My name is Blake. It sounds so good. It sounds so mature. It sounds so sophisticated. Like Blake Carrington from Dynasty. Good-looking guy, rich, a little gray. Yeah, a lot of gray hair, actually. So I like being called Blake. Matter of fact, I wanted to name our son Blake. So he would be Blake.
Oh.
And my wife said, no. So his name is now, and for the ages will be Jonathan Blake. Now, so the deal is though, I mixed up everything. Because really, that speech where it went all the way around the room, that should have been your body speaks. And Psychology 101 should have been get to the point. Okay? So when you're doing your thing, and you have a thing, make sure you have an appropriate topic. Okay? Now, number 7 is research your topic. And the title was What's My Line? Jenny, such a good evaluator, she said, well, you worked for the phone companies for 10 years and you talked about telephone numbers, so I guess you researched your project for 10 years. Absolutely true. But it was very interesting with that one. We have a phone here, a rotary phone. This is a rotary phone. And we found out how we got some of our area codes.
Yeah,
So-
that's right.
Can you, Michelle, please, you should have dinged me. Can you dial 321? And that's our overlay number. And why do we have that number? Because we share it with the Space Coast. Okay? 3, 2, 1, blast off. And that's why we have it. Now, take the rotary phone to read. Dial 386. I know. 386. That spells fun. And when you go to Daytona Beach, don't you have fun? Absolutely. Pass it to Trace. And really use it this time. You've never seen one either. Please dial 786 and tell me what it spells.
Hold on, I feel like we're in the 30s.
Glad I had 8 to 10 minutes.
That's a different song.
What does that spell? It spells lots of things.
Run.
Fun. No, sun. Sun, actually. And that is a phone number, an area code for Miami Beach. Because what happens when you go to Miami Beach? You get lots of sun. So you dial 786. Now, subsequent to this beach, I figured out something else. Ricardo, if you are able to figure that thing out, please dial 756.
Am I gonna wait for it?
Yes.
Look at the letters.
We gotta take a picture though.
Look at the letters. If you're going to call hell,
There's more consonants. There's
S-I-N.
oh,
That's the area code for hell. Not really. But the main thing I learned there, dress for success. It was the Three Stooges. We all wore black. Did they were all wearing blue? Okay. One of my competitors is very bellicose. Now my evaluator. Dress for success. Wear a really nice black shirt. And now, persuade with power, that was neither persuasive nor powerful. The deal is, if I, with 23 years of bad habits, can be a competent communicator, so can you. As Kathy said, I can do this, we can do this. Thank you.